The kind of moment that feels small in the grand scheme of a long MLB season, the kind of roster move that might appear as a footnote in a transaction wire or scroll across the bottom of a late-night sports segment, has turned out to be the quiet signal of a major shift in Los Angeles, and if you're a true fan of the game, especially Dodgers baseball, then you know exactly how heavy this moment really is. Austin Barnes, the heart of the clubhouse and the silent gear behind the machine that ran through October with the calm of a veteran and the energy of a rookie, has been designated for assignment. It's the end of a chapter that spanned 11 years, 2 World Series appearances, 1 historic championship in 2020, and countless nights where his name wasn't the one on every fan's lips, but his fingerprints were all over every W. This is not just a baseball move. This is the closing of an era, the quiet exit of a man who stood behind the plate for some of the most unforgettable moments in Dodgers history. And yet, as baseball always reminds us, every end is just the beginning of something else, something unknown, something potentially greater. The Dodgers, never ones to rest on nostalgia, have simultaneously opened the door to the future, calling up their top catching prospect, Dalton Rushing, asking the kid to step into shoes that may not have been flashy, but were heavy with legacy. And right there is the hook. How do you replace a player who was never a superstar in the conventional sense, but one whose value was etched into the DNA of a championship team? The answer, like so many in baseball, is you don't replace him. You evolve. You move forward. You let the torch pass and pray the flame stays lit. For Austin Barnes, this transition comes with the kind of bittersweet undertone that longtime players dread. Designated for assignment means that unless he's traded or picked up by another team, his time in Dodger Blue is all but over. And for fans who've watched him develop from a quiet presence behind Yasmani Grandal into the stabilizing force during Will Smith's ascension, this move cuts deep. Barnes was never the headline, he was the backbone. From catching the final out in Game 6 of the 2020 World Series to laying down crucial sacrifice bunts in tight postseason games, Barnes understood his role and executed it flawlessly. He was the kind of player who gave managers peace of mind and pitchers a confidant behind the plate. His baseball IQ, leadership, and ability to work a staff were second to none, and in a game obsessed with numbers, Barnes brought something intangible that never showed up on a stat sheet, but made all the difference. Now the Dodgers are trusting that what they've seen in Dalton Rushing is more than just potential. Rushing, the team's top catching prospect, wasn't supposed to be rushed into a role this significant, at least not this quickly. But here he is, stepping into the backup catcher spot for one of the most high-pressure teams in the league, shadowing Will Smith, and inheriting a job once defined not by offensive numbers, but by game management, pitcher relationships, and nerves of steel. Can Dalton Rushing live up to the weight of what Barnes represented? That's the question burning in every fan's mind right now. Because as much as fans love home runs and walk-offs, they also crave loyalty, consistency, and players who embody the team's spirit. Barnes was all of those things. He was the guy who quietly navigated a decade of shifting rosters, survived new managers, outlasted other catchers, and was always ready when called upon. When Dave Roberts says Austin is a Dodger for life, you believe it. Because what Barnes gave to the team wasn't temporary, it was foundational. But baseball waits for no one. As the Dodgers contend with a season filled with injury hurdles, pitching uncertainties, and the unrelenting pressure of being a perennial favorite, they've made a choice that signals both courage and confidence. Confidence in Rushing's abilities and courage to let go of a beloved veteran in pursuit of long-term excellence. The front office, known for making hard decisions that often pay off in October, clearly believes this is the right time. Still, fans can't help but wonder if this was the right way. Could Barnes have finished out the season? Could he have been given a farewell tour, a chance for the fans to show their appreciation? Or is this just the modern game, efficient, unsentimental, and always looking to the horizon? There's no denying that Dalton Rushing brings exciting tools. A strong bat, defensive upside, and the kind of raw talent scouts drool over. His rise through the minors has been impressive, and by all accounts, he's got the mindset to handle big league pressure. But even the most talented rookies often need time to adjust, to learn the pitchers, the signs, the rhythm of a clubhouse that's used to winning. That's where Barnes excelled in the nuances. In the quiet moments between innings, when he'd give a struggling reliever a word of encouragement, or the quick conference on the mound that calmed a storm. Will Rushing know how to fill those shoes? Or does he need to bring his own identity entirely? The transition won't be seamless. It rarely is. But the Dodgers have bet on themselves again, bet that their system produces not just players, but leaders. And they've bet that Will Smith, now more than ever, is ready to be the singular veteran presence behind the plate without Barnes' safety net. It's a bet with high stakes, because catching is about trust, and Barnes earned that trust over years of quietly doing the job better than anyone realized. This moment might be remembered differently by different people. Some will shrug it off as routine roster churn, while others will circle it as the exact moment the Dodgers shifted their identity again. Because, when you think about it, Barnes wasn't just a backup catcher. He was a symbol of what the Dodgers have built, a franchise where roles matter, where doing the little things right gets rewarded, where being part of a championship means more than numbers. And now, that chapter is closed, not with a farewell ceremony, but with a transaction note. In the end, maybe that's the most fitting tribute to Barnes, a man who never demanded the spotlight, but earned it anyway. As for Dalton Rushing, the lights are already on. The cameras are rolling. And the questions are swirling. Can he be the next great Dodgers catcher? Will he rise to the moment, or get lost in the weight of it all? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, he's not just replacing a player. He's stepping into a legacy. And in baseball, that's the hardest role of all. So as fans settle into this new reality, watching Rushing take his first steps and hoping he lives up to the hype, they should also take a moment to remember what was a decade of steady hands, quiet leadership, and one of the most underrated careers in recent Dodgers history. Because sometimes the players we talk about the least are the ones who mattered the most. Goodbye, Austin Barnes, and welcome, Dalton Rushing. The next era has officially begun. Now it's up to the kid to prove it belongs to him.